What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day of Philly sports history for April 26, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Saturday edition of the podcast. And Howie Roseman has done it again. This time, second round pick, Andrew Makuba, safety out of Texas, projected to possibly be day one starter at safety. Talked to a couple Texas fans. They love this pick. I saw Emmanuel Acho on Twitter. He's a Texas guy. He loves the pick. This dude is, again, I see a theme here with Howie. Versatile. He's fast. He can hit. And he's a game changer. Kind of like how C.J. Gardner-Johnson was. So should be able to step right into that role and be successful. Then they traded their third-round picks to stockpile some more for today, and as well as future drafts. But I like this pick again, teaming him up with Campbell. They kind of shored up the linebacking, shored up the back end of the secondary. Today, I'm looking for them to probably get a couple more D linemen, possibly another corner. Obviously, they always end up picking an offensive lineman at some point during this draft. But overall, Howie is killing it. And I like his strategy here. Again, versatile, fast guys, and he's certainly ahead of the curve. I heard I don't watch the ESPN draft coverage because Mel Kiper just drives me crazy. But watching the NFL Network, those guys really think, and they even mentioned what I said yesterday, Howie's sort of ahead of that curve. Like, teams are starting to do this, but Howie is sort of leading the charge with bringing back the importance of the running back, bringing back speed on defense, and being able to compete with a lot of these skill guys. So I really, really like this pick combined with Jahad Campbell Friday night. Or Thursday night, I guess. Yeah, Thursday night. I really like what Howie's done so far in this draft. It should be a busy day today at 2 4th-rounders, 3 5th-rounders, and a 6th. Don't expect them to use all those picks. Don't expect them to not trade anything. So it should be good watching today as we see Howie fill out the rest of the team. I still wouldn't be surprised if somehow there's a trade for a veteran player. You still have Dallas Goedert, so maybe they select a tight end at some point today. But overall, a good second day of the draft for Howie Roseman. Andrew Makuba, welcome to Philadelphia, safety out of Texas. And again, Texas fans raved about this guy. And I saw a couple people put this on Twitter. They're like, when I'm not sure how to feel about a pick that Howie made, you go to like the opposing team's Twitter and see what happens. Cowboy fans were up in arms about this pick. So that means it has to be pretty decent. But probably at some point, 2 future starters. Once Campbell comes back from the injury, likely will be able to get in there and get some playing time. Makuba, barring something crazy, should be starting alongside Reed Blankenship next year. So you got to say, Howie is killing the draft once again. Obviously, got to prove it on the field. But let me know your thoughts. How are we feeling about Howie and what he's doing so far in the draft? Yesterday, I asked you what your initial reaction was to the Jahad Campbell selection. 93% of you said you love the pick. So let me know this isn't the official question of the day, but let me know, what are you thinking about Makuba? Like I said, I saw some clips, was able to watch some of his big plays yesterday after the pick, talked to some Texas fans. People love him. Again, they seem to be, and so much is made about the culture of the Eagles team. These dudes fit right into the culture, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's run it back. Go back-to-back. Why not? But should be a busy day for Howie Roseman and the Eagles today in the draft. All right, so from one extreme to the other, let's go to the Phillies. After about a 2-hour rain delay, they played in chilly Chicago yesterday, windy Chicago, and it just was not a fun game. Like, this team is not fun right now. Not fun to watch at all. Lost 4-0. Terrible all around, but I can't necessarily put 100% of this on the pitching. They're 0 for 7 runners in scoring position, left 10 guys on base, played horrible defensively. What was Max Kepler thinking on that fly ball in the first? You could blame the wind somewhat, but he had a late break on it and looked like he didn't see it off the bat. And then somebody please teach Trey Turner how to put a tag down. The fact that the Cubs had like 4 or 5 stolen bases yesterday on JT, at least 2 or 3 of them, better tags, would have had the runner, especially the one in the first. So for say what you want about Taijuan Walker, threw like 30-some pitches in the first inning, but he should have been out of that inning 2 times over between Kepler and Trey Turner's tags. So Taijuan certainly was not helped by the defense yesterday, and it kind of set the tone for this team, and that, to me, is what the issue is. Offensively, what is going on? The fact that nobody decided to step up and say, listen, let's pick our guy up, and they just seem to be going through the motions. And I said this earlier last week, and I feel like they don't have any heart. They're just kind of going out there, going through the motions, and no sense of urgency, nothing. Somebody needed to step up and say, let's pick our guy up. We're letting him down, and nobody did it. It's extremely frustrating. And now they have 2 nationally televised games, so maybe they turn it on for the bright lights. I don't know. I don't have confidence that they will. Luzardo's on the mound, so hopefully he can come in and kind of be the stopper for this, 4-game losing streak. Just terrible all around, like I said. And I can't even really put it on the pitching because giving up 4 runs isn't terrible, especially when you let Taijuan down in the first inning. Like that Taijuan should have been able to go more than 2 innings. And the fact that he threw 80-some pitches is terrible. And it kind of, like I said, set the tone. And he had to be feeling he had to do more because defensively they weren't doing anything to help him out. And then the bats just, you got to get the guys in. When you got them on base, like, I don't know. And, like, you can't even say about yesterday with the home runs because of the way the wind was blowing. That's fine. But, I mean, the Cubs didn't have any problem keeping the ball low, shooting doubles into the gap. I feel like every inning they had a double and a guy on second base, and they were able to hit the ball to the opposite side of the field, get him over to third, and have him score. That's what this Phillies team needs to do. But that does lead to today's question of the day. What is more frustrating with this team right now, the pitching or the hitting? I got to go hitting because I don't know if it's because they have the different mental approach at the plate, and that's why it looks weird and the vibes are off. But I don't think the pitching has been terrible. Yes, Romano has not been good. Kerkering's been But I think when you're getting shut out, you can't really put that on the pitching. You're not playing good defense. You can't put that on the pitching. So let me know your thoughts. 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. Tell me how you're feeling. What's more frustrating, the hitting or the pitching? Let me know your thoughts on Andrew Makuba as well. At least we got the draft today. And then Phillies Cubs for the national TV game on Fox. Luzardo's on the mound. Can he be that stopper? God, it doesn't even matter if they're not going to hit. We'll see. There was a move yesterday. Cody Clemens, wasn't able to confirm whether he signed or was traded to Minnesota, but he was DFA'd when Weston Wilson came back. They had 7 days to kind of figure it out. So he is with Minnesota. Whether or not that was a trade or I don't think they're going to get a ton for him. But Cody Clemens no longer on the Phillies. All right, let's do some housekeeping. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mott on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, @PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mott. And continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Got some good things coming up in the next months, so stay tuned for that. And as always, there are highlights, newspaper clips, photos, things like that on my social media, including my Facebook as well as my LinkedIn. So be sure to check that out for some visual representation of this day in Philly sports history. All right, time for our Tankathon. And I ran both Tankathon simulations for both the Flyers and the Sixers this morning. Flyers moved up to the second pick, which would be great. I'm very excited for this NHL draft to see what Danny has up his sleeve. And I ran it for the Sixers. They did drop, but they kept their pick as they fell to the 6th spot in the NBA draft lottery. We'll continue to do the Tankathon every day until the NHL and NBA draft lotteries. Starting next week, we'll start seeing some of the trends now that we have some data. But it's looking pretty good overall for both the Sixers and the Flyers. Flyers tend to stay in that 4-5 range. Sixers have only lost the pick, I think, 2 or 3 times. So lots of time left before those lotteries, but we'll continue to run our Tankathon simulations. Be sure to check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Go to theclashingconferences.com for details on what they have to offer, how you can get involved, and then, of course, check out their podcast wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Great things happening on their Sports Fan Network. Good guys over there, lots of fun, so be sure to support them. And why not do some shopping today? It's always a good day to go to Philly Goat, no matter what the weather is. Get geared up for the spring and summer. They have any kind of t-shirt you can imagine, shoes, slides, get some rocks glasses, coolers, artwork, you name it, you can get it at Philly Goat. So go to phillygoat.com, check out their wide selection of Philly sports-based apparel and accessories, and use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, today, familiar face here in April, and April just seems to be Mike Schmidt's month. And we've talked about his 500th home run. We talked about his 4 home run game in Chicago. Today we're going to go back to 1976, same month that he had his same year he had his 4 home run game. And on this day, Phillies beat the Reds 10-9 at the Vet. Mike Schmidt with 2 home runs and 3 RBI, giving him 11 total home runs for the month of April, tying the major league record for that month. Bobby Tolan also added a home run for the Phillies in their win over the Big Red Machine in what would turn out to be a preview of the NLCS that year. Reds obviously swept the Phillies 3-0 later that October. And if you're keeping score at home, like I know a lot of you do, the current record for home runs in April is shared by both Albert Pujols and Alex Rodriguez, who both hit 14 in 2006 and 2007, respectively. And as I said last week, Mike Schmidt did lead the league in home runs in 1976 with 38. They would go on to win their division, kind of the start of that golden era. But on this day, they beat the Big Red Machine 10-9 as Mike Schmidt hit 2 home runs, tying the major league record for home runs in the month of April with 11. And Bobby Tolan also went deep as well. And then finally today, we're going to continue our look at the best Eagles draft picks by round. And then today, we're going with the 5th round. 5th round of the draft is today. And the Eagles have had some success in the 5th round of the draft. Super Bowl 52 champion offensive lineman Halapoulivatai. I can never say his name. Big V. Vaitai was picked in the 5th round back in 2016. His Super Bowl winning teammate Brent Selleck was also a 5th round pick in 2007. Brent still does work with the team doing, I believe he does either player development or community relations. A.J. Feely, one of our favorite backup quarterbacks from the Andy Reid era, was drafted in the 5th round in 2001. Ike Reese, before he was on WIP, was an Eagles linebacker and special teams player, played in Super Bowl 39, made it the Pro Bowl in, I think, that same year, 2004, was drafted in the 5th round in 1998. And then I added this one because he was one of my guys from the teams that I grew up watching. Calvin Williams was drafted in the 5th round in 1990. Paired him alongside Arkansas Fred Barnett, giving Randall some deep threats there. But our spotlight is going to be on 3 of the all-time greats in Eagles history. And I'll do it in order of the year they were drafted. First, in 1943, out of Michigan, the Eagles took Al Wistert in the 5th round. He was a 2-time NFL champion, 48 and 49, offensive tackle. First year in the league was with the Steagles, the year that the Eagles and Steelers combined their teams due to World War II. Al was a 4-time All-Pro. He was on the NFL's All-1940s Decade team. His number 70 is retired by the Eagles. He's in the Eagles Hall of Fame, the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, as well as the College Football Hall of Fame. One of the greats to ever play at Michigan. Al Wistert was drafted in the 5th round in 1943. And then 2 years later, the Eagles took Pete Pios, from a wide receiver out of Indiana. Also a 2-time champion, played on those 48 and 49 teams. He was a 6-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, obviously the 2-time champion. Led the NFL in receiving yards twice, receptions 3 times. He is also on the NFL's All-1940s Decade team, the Eagles' not all 75th anniversary team. He's in the Eagles Hall of Fame, the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, and Pete is also in the Pro and College Football Hall of Fame. One of the all-time greats to ever do it at both in college and the pros. Was drafted by the Eagles in the 5th round in 1945. And then moving ahead, a little bit more current of a player that everybody should know, Trent Cole was drafted in the 5th round in 2005 out of Cincinnati. He was a 2nd-team All-Pro in 2009, 2-time Pro Bowler. He also is in the Eagles Hall of Fame, and his 85.5 sacks with the Eagles ranks number 2 all-time to Reggie White. And best known for me, Trent Cole was a beast, but his sack celebration that Jalix Hunt brought back in the Super Bowl, taking out the bow and shooting it, because Trent is an avid hunter. So 3 all-time greats have been selected in the 5th round by the Eagles: Al Wistert, Pete Pios, and Trent Cole. So there is a lot to be looking forward to today with the NFL draft. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds today. We'll look at the 4th round tomorrow, but as you can see in the 5th round, yesterday in the 6th round, and even the day before in the 7th round, the Eagles can still get some solid players. So it is must-watch TV today. But that is our Eagles draft spotlight for the 5th round. On this day in 1976, Phillies beat the Reds 10-9. Mike Schmidt goes deep twice, tying the Major League Baseball record for home runs in the month of April with 11. Just his month, man. Mike Schmidt was an April player, but was also good in other months as well. You don't hit 548 home runs if you're not good across the board. We'll run more Tankathon simulations for tomorrow, recap day 3 of the NFL draft for the Eagles. Hopefully the Phillies can snap out of whatever funk they're in. But let me know what's more frustrating, the hitting or the pitching for that team right now. But I don't know. I think I'd much rather watch round 7 of the NFL draft than the Phillies right now. They're just not fun to watch. But Howie Roseman did it again. Andrew Makuba, safety out of Texas yesterday. I love it. Likely could be a starter. The Texas fans love him. They're high on him. And I tend to, because they watch all the games. And I know when Michigan guys get drafted, people come to me. But I like this pick. Should be a starter. What does Howie have cooking for today? We'll see. It should be another warm one. Might be some rain, some thunderstorms later. So it's a good day, like I said, to watch the draft, suffer through the Phillies, whatever you got to do. But go have yourselves a Saturday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for April 26, 2025. I'm Jim Montgomery. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.